Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are going to be doing a reading and energy update for our beautiful collective here on YouTube. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's reading. I am so grateful to each and every one of you here. Know that simply by being here, you are participating in a really co-creative process. So your energy is helping to influence all of the messages and pieces of information that come up in these readings. And I'm so grateful for your role in all of that, regardless of when or where you are tuning in from, because of course, energy does not really recognize time, space, or distance. I can already tell that there is so much we're going to be talking about in today's reading. I've been really receiving a lot of downloads coming through over the course of the last couple days, but there's been this sense of not rushing the process, of really allowing the energy and the messages to build up so that they can kind of formulate themselves and be articulated in the clearest way possible. So maybe right there in that there is some kind of message for someone out there listening. Maybe there's something in your life where you have this awareness that there's a process taking place that's very gradual, that can't be forced, that can't be rushed, that has to just be trusted. So we hear the cliche, trust the process, but there really is so much more to that cliche than meets the eye, because the process that we're actually trusting in is this process of natural coming into alignment with our highest vibrational timeline, with our true, most core soul intentions, goals, dreams, etc. in this lifetime. And there's a divine timing to everything. So that process very much has to unfold itself. Again, it simply cannot be rushed or forced. So I am going to go ahead and shuffle the cards to get us into some of the messages to start off today's reading. But first, if you would like to contribute your energy in a stronger way to the reading video, then I do recommend subscribing to the channel, as subscribing is a form of energetic transference that does tend to allow me to pick up more easily on your energy and channel more specifically for you, not just here in this video, but in future reading videos as well. You'll most likely find after subscribing that the videos begin to feel increasingly more relevant to you. I've noticed many of you even reporting this in the comment section. So yeah, this is just a great way for us to exchange energy and keep co-creating here on YouTube. So I am shuffling the Energy Oracle cards deck. By the way, how are you feeling with all of this new year energy? I got the word empowered. Maybe someone's feeling really empowered. We have the Goddess of the Moon card up right here. So specifically, I could be speaking to someone who is identifying more so with their divine feminine energy. Now, keep in mind, we all have a balance internally of both the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And these energies are not necessarily related to a particular gender. They speak to energy dynamics. And again, we all experience both sides of these dynamics within each of ourselves. But I really feel someone leaning into I'm hearing their creative spirit, their divine feminine flow state, maybe their artistic state a bit more, feeling empowered and all of that. But I also feel as though I'm hearing the flow state is getting more grounded in. So this is a really interesting way of saying it, but this Goddess of the Moon card that so relates with creativity, with your flow, with artistic energy is sitting on the root chakra. And what that tells me is your creative nature, your artistic nature, all of that is, even your flow state, I also need to say, is really becoming more grounded. It's almost becoming just secondhand to you. It's becoming natural. And for some reason right here, my guides want me to insert a download that came through so strongly. By the way, I just saw dice that could be significant to someone, or maybe someone's taking a gamble or taking a chance metaphorically. But the download that I kept receiving over the course of the last couple days is, it looks so good on you and you wear it so well. And what I'm talking about isn't most likely something that you're wearing literally. It's the way that you wear this new energy. We've been talking and channeling for a while about this new energy coming into your life over the course of the last few years, this new phase that you're shifting into. But what I'm really getting now is this sense of that no longer being something that you're really just like moving into, or that's kind of on the horizon, but something that's here now, something that you're embracing and that you're embodying. And I'm hearing natural empowerment. There's this energy of natural confidence, natural empowerment around you that actually comes from this deeply spiritual place, meaning you are someone who so completely knows who you are on a soul level in such a way that it doesn't even have to be spoken or articulated to be understood and registered by others, because you so know who you are spiritually. You're so familiar with your own soul. You've done all of that journey of introspecting within yourself that's led you to this place of total knowingness of the self that creates this kind of depth about you that's very magnetic, but also that emanates this effortless confidence that, again, just looks so good on you. And I'm also getting people are noticing. People are noticing you stepping into your element. They're noticing how good this looks on you. Now, I also heard leadership roles. So for some of you, part of what looks so good on you here is you stepping into some place of leadership. Now, this doesn't have to look like a traditional visible role of leadership, like a promotion or starting a business or whatever the case is. For some of you, yes, it could absolutely look more like literal leadership, but there's some way that you are now embodying this energy of a leader. And the way you can know this is happening is you will notice people starting to seek you out for advice, sometimes not even realizing that they're doing it. Someone might just start opening up to you about something they're going through or a situation, and they might even say, I never say this to anyone. You've just found yourself almost falling into these roles of being a guide or being a mentor or a leader in some way, even in ways that may look small on the surface, although you're being guided to remember that no leadership role that you've come into, even if it's just you talking to someone at the grocery store and this stranger tells you something and you give them a kind word or some kind of encouragement, even something as brief on the surface as that is deeply meaningful. And it's no more or less than other forms of leadership roles. But what I'm getting is you are emanating this energy of a leader. And again, it's something that looks so good on you, something that you've learned to embrace so naturally and effortlessly that you don't even really have to think about it consciously anymore. Like, I feel you just walk around and communicate this confidence that goes so much deeper than your words. And so that's what I mean when I say this divine feminine energy is becoming so locked in, so grounded. I'm also hearing something about your intuition and your flow state becoming very secondhand and natural to you, almost like a rhythm that exists within you, like a heartbeat that's just always present that you don't even really have to think about. So some examples of how you might see this showing up, although it can be very different from one person to the next, is, for example, you might find intuitively certain thoughts pop up in your head like, I should do this, or I should reach out to this person, or I should go there. And they just kind of bubble to the surface naturally. You may not even necessarily be giving it a lot of thought, but when you follow it out, you connect the dots and almost instantly realize the reason your intuition fed you that piece of information. And yet the whole process of following that feels so natural. It's just secondhand. It's just the way you're kind of guiding your life. But I'm also hearing this message of being aware of things that can become blockages to allowing you to follow and listen to that intuitive voice. So pay attention to any mind programs that may be restricting you, because I'm seeing this connection between having an abundance mentality, and abundance isn't just about physical money or things or material possessions. Abundance is the energy of freedom. It's the energy of openness. It's availability, meaning being available to hear and recognize and follow through your intuitive guidance in the moment. And so we've really been in this process of leaning more and more into that energy of abundance, which is allowing us to have that freedom to follow out those intuitive impulses. And that's how the energy of abundance can be so connected to our intuition as well. So therefore, anything that restricts our abundant mindset, our abundance mentality, will naturally restrict us from following our intuition. So one example of this that's very isolated, but that some of you may relate to, this may not be for everyone, and you can take it to apply to a different area of your life if this isn't resonating. But for example, when it comes to, let's say, food and eating and knowing what your body needs, your body has a profound, natural, intuitive ability to be able to subconsciously analyze what's available to it in the moment and to choose from those options specifically what it wants to intake to fulfill a set of needs that is not only unique to the individual, but also that individual's current state of being and their current circumstances and current environment, as well as their personal goals. But when we force ourselves to do things that feel unnatural to us when it comes to food or eating, forcing ourselves, for example, to eat things that our body may not necessarily be desiring or craving, that don't necessarily make us feel fueled in that way, or when we push ourselves to unnaturally restrict our physical body, to deny it what it's asking for because it doesn't fit into a societal mold or because it doesn't make logical sense to our conscious mind. This is one example of a way in which we can restrict our abundance mentality by having this lack mentality in this instance when it comes to food, eating, and our physical body. And so naturally what happens and how this restricts our intuition is we are now restricted from following those intuitive impulses that our body is giving us in a very flowing, kind of spontaneous but perfect way. We don't have the ability to follow those impulses because we're already locked in to some kind of a restrictive system that's sort of like a mold that intuition doesn't always fit into. And so in the past, many of those molds, whether it was related to food in the physical body or countless other areas of life and things, those molds represent 3D paradigms and programs where there are these formulas where you put in X and you get out Y, so to speak, in these formulas of creative equation. But what we're finding as we ascend into higher levels of vibration is that our energy no longer fits into those old formulas. That's what I mean when I say new systems require new formulas. I believe that's something I said on Instagram recently. Your energetic body has been upgraded to a new system. Therefore, you require new formulas, meaning those old matrix paradigms and programs that you may have used to utilize, where you would do a certain series of things, even if it went against your intuition, to get a certain result. Your intuition is turned all the way up now. You are all the way turned up in terms of energetic sensitivity, including sensitivity to your own intuition and your own guidance. So you quite literally can no longer ignore that guidance without creating a tremendous amount of resistant vibration in your field that may have not been present when you played out those old paradigms in the past. And that is why I say to trust the process and to really allow yourself to flow with this, because just like your physical body knows what it needs when it comes to nurturing, nourishment, food, etc., your soul knows what it needs when it comes to routines or people or environments. Your heart knows what it needs when it comes to love and friendship and community. You have all of these layers of systems that are so perfectly finely tuned within yourself that are constantly leading you down these pathways, but in a very flowing, intuitive way towards the absolute most harmonious, highest vibrational, most aligned outcomes in all areas of your life. And the way that you keep following those trails and pathways is by continuing to have the courage to flow with it. So I am going to go ahead and shuffle the cards here. I definitely was not expecting all of those messages to come through here. Now, because I've been speaking a lot to the divine feminine here, I will be channeling more into your energy, divine feminine, on Patreon. So I feel there's a lot of spirit guide presence around you, a lot of divine kind of energy that's guiding you very strongly at this time. And you're most likely feeling that guidance, maybe in subtle ways, maybe in not so subtle ways. So on Patreon, we will be diving deeper into any further higher self, life path, soul purpose related messages that want to come through for you at this time. So that will be in the extended version of this reading on Patreon. So if you do want to join our Patreon soul tribe, then you can do so by clicking the link in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. Okay, so what else can I channel for the beautiful souls listening? So here we have journey in the reverse position. Some journey has come to a close here, but I get the sense of through this journey coming to a close, something is being found that you've been seeking. It's a journey of seeking something. Now that journey is ending because something is being found. So this could be in love, this could be in career, in finances. Take this however it resonates. If you aren't yet seeing the closure of this journey, know that this is definitely on the horizon for you. But I want to know, let's actually go to the traditional tarot to see what journey is coming to a close here. So what journey is coming to a close for the beautiful souls listening? Okay, I feel some kind of total ending had to be allowed to allow this to come to a close. I'm hearing accepting that something just simply can't be worked out from the conscious level of the mind through force or control. That it has to be something that pushes you into your inner power with the Magician card, that this heavy energy that you were once trying to control can actually be transmuted. It can be raw material for your magic, but you don't get to control that process when you allow it to happen. And I feel that for some of you, this won't be for everyone, but with the Sun card reversed, this actually may have involved, especially if you're a divine feminine, some kind of masculine energy here who contained the divine masculine seed of potential, where they had the potential to really embody the highest vibrational, most empowered version of themselves, but they were actively choosing to suppress that potential in the physical realm. And for some of you, that may have been what you were trying to control, and ultimately what you had to just accept as is. But in doing that, I feel that you've somehow used the raw energy around this person or situation to your advantage to actually create something beautiful, whether it's this next phase of your life, whether you're taking that raw energy and putting it into something literally creative. I'm hearing that something is taking on a new kind of power because of something very heavy that you were fighting against or trying to control, that you ultimately accepted or surrendered. And now it's like, as a result of surrendering and actually using that for this raw power, this raw creative energy, you are now like riding this really powerful wave here. And yet with the Four of Wands reversed, I feel as though there may have been someone immature here who may have delayed some kind of union, reunion. I'm hearing something that felt like it was supposed to happen because in a sense it was written in the stars from a spiritual perspective. It's something that your souls had written into your soul contract, this Four of Wands, this coming together, this union. And yet I feel as though because perhaps the masculine here with that Sun card reversed again wasn't living up to their fullest potential or was actively, consciously choosing to repress aspects of that potential. And I do feel that there may have been some deep-seated childhood issues here that as an adult with the King of Cups reversed were naturally turning them inward in a way that may have appeared very cold and very emotionally disconnected to you and to others. It's almost like because of unhealed wounds or trauma within themselves, they felt that they could really only rely on themselves or really had to, I'm hearing really couldn't fully let anyone else in. And that led to this lack of maturity in the way that they would connect with you and others, and ultimately some kind of delayed union or reunion, something that again felt like it was supposed to happen between the two of you that couldn't happen, at least not yet, at least not on this timeline, because of how this person was choosing to actively not heal these traumas and wounds and suppress their own potential. But what I see is you surrendered all of that, maybe even use that heaviness as fuel for your fire, as some kind of catalyst for creativity in your life. And I got the name Lucy for someone. With the World card, this is about you choosing to step into your most powerful, confident, successful, fulfilled version of self, in spite of the fact that you may not have any clue what's going to happen with this particular situation, possibly again with this masculine from your past or whatever heavy situation it was that you may have surrendered. I'm hearing this is you choosing yourself above all else with no idea necessarily where it's going to lead, but having this sense that you're onto something very exciting and very important as well. So what else can I channel for whoever's connecting with this message? I'm hearing the Tower has to happen for this person. It's almost like allowing this masculine to go through their own tower moment to become the emperor. It's like I see this masculine entering the tower as this Page of Cups reversed, this King of Cups reversed, someone who dealt with a lot of trauma or pain in their childhood that they were repressing, not healing, that ultimately led them to be very emotionally cold and disconnected as an adult. But I see that bringing on this tower moment that you are supposed to allow them to undergo. You really don't have the ability, and if you were to try, it would only drain your energy. If you tried to intervene with this masculine's necessary tower moment, and they enter the tower, a Page of Cups reversed, and exit the Emperor, I also see that this is a massive wake-up call for them, where they begin really coming clean about how they've been feeling all along, about what they've, I'm hearing, been hiding, maybe even hiding from themselves. And I actually see that allowing this tower moment is the way that another potential pathway opens up. So if you are someone who still desires some kind of futuristic union or reunion with this person, know that the only way that can happen in a harmonious, aligned, high vibrational manner is for this masculine to undergo this necessary tower moment that will activate them into the Emperor. And with the Two of Wands, I see this opening up another potential pathway, like I'm hearing an alternate route that the two of you could take together if you choose to do so. Again, there's obviously no obligation to do so. You are the conscious creator of your life, so you can decide whether or not you desire to connect with this particular masculine in the future, even on that more harmonious timeline. But if that is something you desire, know that the only way, that pathway, that alternate route to that union or reunion can open up here is through allowing this masculine to go through their necessary tower moment. So wow, very powerful messages coming through about that. If that is speaking to your situation, then in the extended version of this reading, I will be channeling anything else that wants to come through on this. So what this masculine is currently going through, what this tower moment might be looking like for them, and anything else that you may need to know about how this connection between you could potentially transform moving into the future. So again, the link to those messages in the extended Patreon reading is in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. But for now, I am going to go ahead and reshuffle the cards here, and I just want to know what else you need to know at this time. So what else can I channel here? The thinking mind, the thinking man, and I almost said the thinking mind because what came to my head is keep your mind out of the way. So there's this continued message of guidance of really in 2025, especially allowing your heart and soul to lead the way and not allowing your mind to somehow stifle or block a creative idea or a pathway by over analyzing it, or by really, I'm hearing like just overthinking it and somehow stifling that energy that you're really just meant to be allowing yourself to flow with indecision and door to value in the reverse position, and also patience reversed and yin yang upright. And also the temple path. Okay, there's a very important message coming up here. And this message is your intuition is spot on about something, but you've been questioning it. You've been feeling unsure about it. And the reason is because what your intuition is so spot on about is the fact that you're right where you need to be, and that it's actually not the time to make a particular decision. So I feel like I might be speaking to a very specific group here. But if this is for you, what I'm getting is you are in this indecision state where you feel as though you are at some kind of crossroads. Maybe you feel like you've been there for a while. You might even be consciously judging yourself as being stuck in a particular place, being stuck on a person, being stuck in a job, in a career, in a pathway, a life, an environment. And it's almost like the mind has been so afraid of judging itself as stuck or being perceived as stuck or stagnant that it's been trying to fight against the fact that your intuition has you exactly spot on where you need to be. Sometimes following your intuition isn't about moving. It's about knowing when it's okay to pause and just sit with where you are, just be where you are, because you're not feeling the intuitive impulse to move in any particular direction, and you know how to listen for that impulse. If you're not getting that strong, inspired action pull in a particular direction that's coming from that soulful, aligned place that you've become so adept at hearing for, then that is your intuition telling you, I've planted you exactly where you need to be in this moment. And with door to value reversed, the reason that no path is calling out to you is because these are not your paths, at least not yet. With patience reversed, this is not the time for whatever that drastic move or decision is that your mind is trying to push you into, but that your heart doesn't feel ready for. And you know this with the third eye chakra upright coming up here. This is your intuition speaking to you. It's just that most people don't understand that intuition can sometimes also be that voice that tells us to just allow ourselves to surrender into where we are, to be where we are, to trust our timing, even if it looks entirely different or contradictory to the timing of so many others around us, or that society tries to pressure us into. Another major message that was coming up that is now being triggered by this is you are becoming timeless. And there's so much more I could say on this. In fact, I really have actually been wanting to dedicate a whole separate YouTube video to this particular concept, because I'm hearing you are defying time in very particular ways, especially if you are an awakened divine feminine listening here. You are actually really reaching this point where not only are you trusting and operating on completely your own timing that's going to look very different from people around you, but that's exactly the point, because it's inspiring so many others to throw off those limiting constructs of society around timing that actually goes back to that abundance mentality. We can actually have an abundance mentality or a lack mentality when it comes to our timing. And when we have an abundance mentality with time, we see ourselves as timeless. And actually, because we start emanating that energy, people begin responding more to us as though we are timeless as well, because they're sensing that we have that abundance mentality around time. We don't allow ourselves to be rushed before things feel right. We have no need to be in a rush, because we know that there is a divine timing operating in our lives. And again, there's so much more I could say on this that I'd like to discuss in a future video. But for now, what I will say as well with the yin yang card, the temple path, adjacent possibilities, I'm really feeling guided to just go ahead and share quite a bit more on you being timeless in the extended reading on Patreon. I know it's going to be a bit of a deeper dive, but we'll go ahead and start there, and maybe more information on that will come up in future videos. But if you do want more info on how you've become so timeless in a sense, and actually I heard the word formless as well, and I was getting this idea of kind of being a shapeshifter along with that formlessness. So if any of that is kind of triggering some sort of intuitive knowing in your soul or creating some kind of spark of interest, then the link to hear more on what I have on that download so far is in the pinned comment and description box underneath the video. It will be on Patreon. But with the yin yang card, the temple path card, and adjacent possibilities, I'm hearing you are in this state of balance. That's part of why you do feel this urgency to move forward, because you're ready for what is coming. You're ready for what is aligning for you. So your job is only to stay balanced and listening for the intuitive impulses when you receive them. with the Temple Path card upright, this is about you really being in this very strong alignment with your highest vibrational pathway. And I'm hearing possibilities, options, pathways that feel aligned for you, that call you very strongly, are going to be opening up for you as you stay in that balanced, aligned state of being. And you can reaffirm to yourself, because you know this based on past experiences, that you are someone who knows how to listen for and follow that feeling of intuition when it reaches you. You've seen examples of you doing that in the past, and you've seen how it's played out in such magnificent ways. So continue to trust that. And again, if you're not getting that strong, inspired feeling in a particular direction, don't judge yourself as stuck. Know that you are where you are because it is now the ultimate creative vantage point for your growth. And, within all of this, I'm also getting this message that things you are going through that you may feel so incredibly alone in, that your mind may have just been struggling against in so many ways. This is a journey that is meant to inspire so many others, and actually is, in ways that you may not even be fully aware of, because I'm getting this message that particular things that you are doing, that you are going through, that you may feel completely alone in, are actually things that are the very core of how you are, or soon will be, helping, inspiring, teaching, and leading other people. And actually, I imagine that if you look at things in your life that you feel passionate about doing, that maybe you desire to do, or things that you've already created or done in the past, you will be able to see that there is a seed within every accomplishment or every dream that you have that isn't yet accomplished. There's this seed of those parts of you that you struggled with alone, that were very painful for you, that you may have tried to fight against mentally. It's almost like at times you are placed in these situations and scenarios in order to be able to extract from them that seed that you then plant into your dreams. And there's some correlation coming up here about the very raw, real, heavy things that you've gone through, that you've tried to kind of fight against, but ultimately you've surrendered into. And it's like, I'm hearing that surrender is how you extract the seed from the pain and plant it into a dream. It's no longer fighting against or struggling against the reality of what is, but simply surrendering into it, reclaiming your power, taking that seed and planting it into a dream. So I don't know who this reading has been for, but I really hope it's reached you if this has been for you. And if this has been connecting, I will be going deeper into the messages, of course, in our Patreon community. So if you do want to get more messages, information, and details from the reading, the link to Patreon will be in the pinned comment and description box underneath this video. For now, the card that I've pulled from the Rumi Oracle is Let Love Transform. So I'm going to go ahead and read from the guidebook here. Okay. The guidebook says, the spring of love arrives to transform the dust into a garden. The call is heard from the heavens to bid the wings of soul to fly. The sea becomes filled with pearls. The dry land receives the water of life. The stone becomes a ruby, and the body becomes all soul. This oracle comes to you as a living spiritual gift. Whether you realize it or not, you have triumphed. You have blossomed, succeeded, cast aside that which was unworthy, and taken up love's way. You are welcomed into this world where love finds a way. There is nothing impossible for love. It is not bound by the mind, and because of this, all manner of miraculous grace works through it in endless creative variety. So I'm going to go ahead and close the reading there. Thank you so much again for tuning in today. I am sending you all huge amounts of love and light energy. Have an amazing remainder of your day, and I will connect with you here again in Wednesday's reading.